Oh my god, what is it?
In the following clip, two sisters are home alone, sheltering inside a room when their house alarm suddenly begins to sound.
I'm recording. Wait. Do you hear that?
It quickly becomes apparent that someone may have entered the house. The security camera footage shows the front door standing open, indicating that an intruder could have come inside. What makes it unusual is that when they replay the exact moment the door opens, there is no one visible. The door appears to open by itself. At the time, the sisters did not actually see how it happened. They only noticed that the door was already wide open. To make things more unsettling, they also heard a police siren outside their home. But just when it seems like the situation couldn't get any worse, this occurs.
Oh my god, what is it? Clear. Clear.
It appears that something else was inside the house, though not what they initially expected. Both sisters first believed that a person had broken in. However, after reviewing the footage and spotting a small, shadowy figure quickly moving past the camera, they realized this might be something different. The figure has no clear features and moves extremely fast before disappearing out of view.
The fact that it just moved so quickly,
Yeah.
but then like the motion capture camera didn't see that shape. And like when it was
Even the camera seems to struggle to register what it is capturing. There are moments when the figure passes and no tracking box appears around it. Then, at other times, a green box shows up in a dark room, as if the system is detecting something. The camera had never reacted this way before, at least not until the night the door opened on its own.
front door opening on its own,
Yeah.
that closed. We closed that door.
And I mean, this house is like brand new. Like it's not old or like anything.
Yeah.
Since all of this strange activity happened after the door opened, they believe something paranormal may have entered the house. This also raises questions about the earlier part of the video. Could something unexplained have opened the bedroom door at the start? Or was there another explanation? After watching the footage, it's difficult to determine what actually happened, or what exactly the camera was detecting that night. As always, let me know your thoughts. And also, for the next video, that was captured by Joey Wilson. Joey Wilson is a father living in Sacramento, California, where he and his family have spent the past few years. While life at home has generally been good, there's been one unsettling issue involving what he describes as a so-called neighbor. According to Joey, an elderly woman has repeatedly appeared in his backyard, peering through the bushes and watching him from a distance. He says she has shown up multiple times in the same spot, simply standing there and staring. Concerned, Joey contacted the police, thinking it might be a confused or lost elderly person wandering onto his property. However, when officers arrived, they were unable to locate anyone, nor did they find any signs that someone had been hiding there. If no one was present, then how was Joey able to capture what appears to be a face concealed in the bushes? Take a look.
She's back in here trying to fucking find a way into my... Do you see her? Look at that face. Oh my god. It's right. Dude, how scary is that? Oh my god, dude. What the She's crawling through all this bro.
The figure Joey claims to see, described as an older woman, is briefly visible in the footage. But on closer inspection, something about the appearance seems unusual. The way the face presents itself has led some viewers to question whether this was truly just a random trespasser. Whether it's the pale complexion or the way the figure moves, many feel that something doesn't seem quite right. Because of these repeated sightings, Joey decided to install a fence in front of the bushes where the figure kept appearing. Even so, the strange occurrences didn't completely stop. In a more recent photo he took, what looks like an arm can be seen resting on a branch in the same area where the woman had previously been spotted. Some claim they can also make out a face in that image, though that's open to interpretation. It could be a case of pareidolia. But when it comes to the original video, it's harder to dismiss. Something clearly shifts within the bushes. And according to Joey and many who've seen the footage, there's something about it that feels deeply unsettling. For some, it's the kind of image that lingers long after you've watched it, and that same goes for this next terrifying footage. A team of paranormal investigators decided to live stream their exploration of an abandoned house, showing the viewers everything that happened inside in real time. They had no idea that night would leave them with the most traumatic encounter of their lives. From the moment they stepped in, something felt wrong about the place. It was suffocating. Still, they kept moving deeper, trying to document anything unusual. At first, nothing happened. But what followed soon made them regret ever stepping inside.
Aoleu, a spart bateria. Băi, bă, a rămas bateria acolo, Nu mai cânta, băi, nu mai cânta, băi, omule, băi. Băi, oprește-te, băi. Băi, oprește-te, băi, că s-o dișălat bateria aici, am cațaș.
Mamă.
Fugi. Fugi. Dă-i tare.
Păi cum împingi un pula?
Dai, măi, oleacă. Uite ce am făcut aici. Are pe bune. O început cânta Ionuț acolo în cameră, dărâmat dulapul de tot.
Doamne Iisuse Hristoase, Dumnezeu nostru, Cel ce a făcut asumarea și toate celele.
Aoleu, a spart bateria. Băi.
Suddenly, furniture shifted, items slammed to the ground, and loud crashes echoed through the house. Objects suddenly started moving on their own, violently. They were caught by an unknown force that didn't want them there. The team tried to stay composed, but the tension kept building. And what happened next made it clear this wasn't just one isolated incident. During another live stream, at a completely different abandoned house, they captured something even more disturbing.
Da cu casetofonul ăsta mini, da cu dulapul mini. Oricare spirit ai aflat aici, oricare... Ce-a fost asta? Ce-a fost asta? S-a disfăcut sertarul în capă.
Ferească-mă Dumnezeu, dacă nu mai citesc o dată.
Fai de cap, mă, dacă nu nebunesc. Uitați, uite spiritul cum trece pe aici, uite, uite. Da cu dulapul mini. Îți ordon oricare spirit ai afla, oricare e aflat.
De ce-ai zis așa, măi?
Nu, am stricat tot, gata.
De ce ai zis să-i nu trebuia să zici?
Vai de capul,
o rup
pleacă.
priză, o rup toată.
Pleacă, gata.
Ți-am zis să nu zici. Ai zis să dea cu dulapul în tine, de ce ai zis?
Fai de capul meu.
Nu trebuia să zici.
În fața mea, Ionuț.
Hai de mine, nu trebuia să zici. Nu trebuia să cânt nicio aia.
Pardon, oricare spirit te afla, oricare...
Asta pe bunii de mână, pe bunii de la mare.
Na, Ionuț.
Nu-ți de aminte de ei. ci cochii, ci căcatul ăsta e...
A, tu cu moliftele tale, cu astea.
Nu, că e de la molift.
Nu e de la molift.
Ai zis tu.
Am zis eu.
At first, people brushed it off as dust or light in the air, but the timing didn't feel right. The moment an investigator asked if anything was there, something showed up on camera, as if it were responding. And that's when it suddenly got worse. A shelf suddenly crashed down. It wasn't loose, nor was it accidental. Instead, it looked like something had made it crash. At that point, it was clear that whatever was inside could react, and it didn't want them there. But sometimes, those unexplained forces also come for us where we least expect them. It was quite late at night when Tammy returned home from her work. All she wanted was to just park the car, walk into her house, and call it a day. But that plan fell apart the moment she stepped out of her car. Something across the street caught her attention, and what she saw stopped her heart cold. At first, it looked like a faint glow hovering low near the ground, seemingly easy to dismiss. But when Tammy looked closely, she saw a dark figure crawling on all fours. It wasn't something we knew. In a shocking turn, it suddenly stood upright and started walking along the sidewalk. Its body twisted and stretched so that it no longer looked human. Soon, it dropped back onto all fours and disappeared in the dark. But Tammy froze in fear. Even now, she has no explanation for what she saw that night. All she knows is that it wasn't a normal creature. But what was it? A paranormal being, some prank, or something unknown? However, if you are concerned about Tammy, wait for what this woman faced in our next case. A woman in Indonesia went to her new apartment late at night, just for a quick recce before moving in. But the moment she arrived, something felt off. The whole building was out, no power, no lights, not even a sound. It felt like a sign telling her not to go in. But still, she went inside, unaware of what kind of horror she was walking into.
يا بنات لا تناموا بطونكم فاضية، أنا صحيت جوعانة وأحس بطني راح يلصق بظهري من الجوع.
As she moved through the dark hallway, the camera struggled to pick up anything clearly. But the moment she panned toward the kitchen, she froze. Several figures were gathered around a table. A woman with a few children. And before she could even process it, every figure suddenly turned and looked at her with a cold, lifeless stare. None of them looked human. And the moment it hit her, a chill shot down her spine. She screamed in terror and ran instantly, cutting the recording in pure panic. Later, some viewers called it staged. But none of those explanations fully answer what the camera captured in that moment. No one was supposed to be living in that apartment. Then, who were those figures? Or were the apartment haunted? This woman still has a choice not to move in. But what if the house you're already living in turns haunted? Lauren was a TikTok creator who had never experienced anything paranormal. But slowly, things in her house started to feel off. It began with strange footprints on the floor, smaller than adults and oddly shaped. Then, she started noticing figures, barely visible, slipping past the edge of her vision. At first, she ignored it, but it kept happening. Soon, she began hearing faint voices. Objects started moving, doors opening on their own. Lauren realized that she wasn't imagining things at all. Finally, one night, as she was getting ready for bed, the sounds came back, louder this time. And instead of ignoring them, when Lauren went to check, she witnessed this.
Having to go upstairs and check something because I just heard a noise. Teddy. Oh gosh, you picked stuff up off here. Did you hear that? Okay. Okay, it's time to go back. Thought I heard something. What was that? What was that? Okay.
What she heard that night was deeply unsettling for her. It sounded like children playing, with faint laughter and voices. But shockingly, there were no children in that house. Some investigators believe it could be mimic entities, copying familiar voices to gain trust. Others think it could be the house's past still haunting it. But Lauren didn't buy any of this logic, because what she had been experiencing was aware of Lauren's presence, and it never confronted her. But it hadn't left the place either. So, what could this be? Any guesses? She's not the only one with this creepy experience, but what Freddie encountered is way more chilling. Freddie Coronado lives alone in a small house in Mexico, where every night a mysterious sound comes from the backyard. But whenever he goes to check, he sees nothing and no one there. So, at first, he tries to brush it off. But when it keeps happening night after night, Freddie finally sets up a camera to catch whatever it is. However, he had no idea it would be something like this. As the CCTV picked up motion above the clothesline, something started to form. At first, it looked like a shadow, but within seconds, it turned into a face, staring straight into the camera. But it didn't look human at all. When Freddie switches on the outdoor light to investigate, the face disappears. But strangely, the moment the light goes off again, it comes back. It felt like the entity was completely invisible in the normal light, like a ghost. Deeply shaken, he uploaded the footage online, claiming it could be something paranormal. But was it just a trick of shadows, or something that only shows up in the dark? Luckily, he didn't step outside after seeing that face, because if he had, it could have been just as dangerous as what came next. This chilling video was captured by a guy named Rody, who says he hasn't slept properly in weeks. Every night, at the same time, a knocking starts outside his house and just doesn't stop. He tried ignoring it and reasoning with it, but nothing worked. So one night, around 3 a.m., he grabbed a camera and stepped outside, walking straight toward the sound, unaware he might not be alone.
Capto fantasma en video.
Chicos, yo voy a filmar esto porque después me dicen que es mentira. Ustedes escuchan ese ruido, ¿no? Porque... Pará, no puede ser. Quiero que vean la hora que es de la mañana. Hace un frío afuera. Quiero que vean. Ahí, de acá viene el ruido, desde hoy lo estoy escuchando. Hace un frío, bro. Miren. Acá está el asador. El pasillo.
¡Ey!
¿Qué carajo, boludo? Quiero que vean el frío que hace. Porque posta no se dejan de escuchar esos ruidos desde mi pieza, boludo. Nah.
As Rody recorded the darkness, something immediately felt off. Near the fence line, a figure briefly peeked out and pulled back, almost like it realized it had been seen. But what made it worse? There were no footsteps, no sound of anyone running. This meant it could be anywhere, and he wouldn't even know it. That's when he noticed a chilling detail. A swing nearby started moving on its own, while everything around it stayed completely still. Because there was no wind. It felt as if someone had just been sitting there moments before. Rody stood there, confused, and terrified. But what was really going on? Was it the same figure from the fence now on the swing? Or was this something even darker? Because dark forces are often around us, but we rarely see them, like this next case. A man was driving home late one night when a violent storm forced him to stay inside his car. Rain slammed against the windshield, the street outside fading into darkness. So he just sat there, waiting it out. And that's when he noticed something across the street on his neighbor's roof. Something that made his heart skip.
Now, you can save £50 per person. Este domingo 27 de julio va a haber una feria.
In the middle of the storm, he spotted a tall, dark figure standing on the roof. What unsettled him most was how still it was. For a second, he tried to brush it off as a decoration, until it shifted, just slightly. That's when he became sure it wasn't a statue. But the real shock came the next morning. In daylight, the roof was empty, and there was no trace of that figure. Confused, the man showed the footage to his neighbor. But instead of an answer, it only made things worse. The neighbor was shaken and worried, because there was never any decoration on their roof. Then, what was standing there that night? And why? However, sometimes we call our demons ourselves without realizing it. Back in 2012, a group of friends decided to try a Brazilian ritual called Jogo Dopo. It's a spirit contact game, often compared to an Ouija board, but known for much darker outcomes. And that night, they also regretted their decision as the longer they played, the less it felt like a game. They had to sit in a circle, fingers resting lightly on a glass, waiting for something to happen. At first, nothing did. But slowly, everyone felt like something had entered without being seen. And that's when the nightmare started.
Wie heißt du? Wer schiebt? Ich kann das nicht rufen.
Ey, was sieht da ja?
Wie heißt er denn? Wie war das, glaube ich? Hä?
Wie sieht da
BM? Was ist denn BM? BMG?
Nee, du schiebst!
Ich schiebe nicht. Wie soll ich denn? BTM oder was? Nee. Hä?
Ey, wer ist das? Ich schieb nicht, ich spüre schon wieder Angst. Du hast dich schon! Nur weil sie jetzt noch weiter gedreht hat, gesehen!
Was ist jetzt los? Alter!
Mama aus, Mama aus.
First, the woman suddenly pulled her hand back, like she had touched something she shouldn't have. Within seconds, the others did the same, with the same movement and the same reaction. But the panic hit when the glass shot across the room on its own. That alone was enough disturbing. But this wasn't just one clip. Similar videos kept showing up, all tied to the same ritual. And there's one rule people keep repeating. If you start it, you have to end it properly. Because if you don't, especially if the glass breaks, the paranormal entity you unlocked might not leave. We don't know if the group finished the game or is now being haunted by some paranormal force. But is this game truly real? Would you ever like to try it? But sometimes it doesn't need any dangerous game. Just a casual reel of yours could become haunted. Billy Goof was known for posting simple, everyday clips like quick dances, casual funny moments, nothing out of the ordinary. But one night, she recorded something she never meant to. and it changed how people saw her videos completely. She set up her camera in the kitchen and started dancing, fully convinced she was alone in the house. It was supposed to be just another harmless clip, ready to be uploaded. But right before posting it, something in the background made her stop. Watch closely. As Billy danced, a shadow rushed across the hallway behind her. It was so fast she didn't even notice it. But when she replayed the footage frame by frame, the presence of an entity became prominent, and the movement became clear. Shaken, she uploaded the clip online and asked for answers. Some called it a spirit, while others said it was just a glitch. But Billy couldn't believe it was a glitch. Why would a glitch show up in just one video? What do you think? Do you have any explanation for this? This entity was still caught on camera somehow. But what if no one can see an entity, except you? In August 2025, a security camera inside a motorcycle dealership in Thailand captured something no one inside could explain. At first, the showroom looked normal. A female employee sat at the counter, waiting for customers like any other day. But in a shocking turn, the normalcy was shattered when this happened. The front door suddenly swung open on its own. She got up and started talking, calm and natural, like someone had just walked in. But there was no one there. Her coworkers rushed in, trying to pull her back and check if she was all right. But she looked confused, still focused on something they couldn't see, and then she collapsed. Later, she said a man had come in, completely normal, asking about a motorcycle. But the moment others stepped closer, he vanished. However, when they checked the CCTV camera, nobody was seen in the recording. So, what did that camera really capture? A trick of the mind, or something that walked in and left before anyone else could see it? However, our final case truly captured something that came in and vanished that way. Patrick and Jason, part of a paranormal team, traveled to Carson City to investigate the St. Charles Hotel, a place long tied to unexplained deaths and strange reports. Guests often mention footsteps in empty halls, whispers, and sudden chills, while some rooms are quietly avoided. Still, they expected a routine night. They set up their gear, not knowing how quickly things would change.
Door.
Whoa.
What did it say? 198, 3 to 13.
Whew. Near logical creature.
313 degrees.
Can you make this box go off some more?
82.
Here.
What the hell? Dude, there was somebody, 503. Dude, I went back in here and it went to 503. If I should leave, can you make this go to just really, really hot? If I should get out of here, 500, this went to 500, 150, 590. Did you get it?
I'm sure I did.
Do you know? Oh, it's so hot in 224.
172.
Dude, it is
179.
Are you right here? Yeah. No, it's like holding my hand right now. It's like hot right around my hand.
It is super hot right here.
And it's holding there. Something flashed on the SLS too. Can you make that go even higher? Make it. Yeah. It smells like it's on fire. Yeah. 151. Are you on fire?
139.
Is it going back down?
40. 111, 172, 151. Yeah, it hasn't stuck this like this ever.
No.
Inside one room, the temperature suddenly starts jumping fast, way too fast to feel normal. At first, they thought they were imagining it, but the air quickly turns heavy, almost suffocating, and they start feeling like they've stayed too long. Then, just as they're about to leave, the camera catches something they didn't see. A faint light flickers, and a pale, shadowy figure slips across the room and vanishes into the bathroom. Take a look.
There appears to still be quite a bit of activity inside the St. Charles Hotel, and even some guests that never checked out.
When they reviewed the footage later, one thing was clear. It wasn't just light. It moved with intent. Some think it's tied to the hotel's past. Others believe it was something briefly revealing itself. Patrick and Jason ended the investigation soon after, but the question stayed. Was it just light, or something that wanted to be seen? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. That's all for today, folks. If you want to see more creepy content, click on the video on your screen.